everyone. All right, so this is the fourth chakra. For many people, this is their favorite. Maybe it's not. The fourth chakra, Anahata, is said to be the heart chakra. Frequently, it is associated with the color green, but not necessarily if you look at the actual picture for that chakra. The word itself, Anahata, means unstruck. And what I find interesting about that, so it's the sound of like stillness or silence. It's like right before, a string is plucked. There's a kind of still energy to it that you may be able to understand when you think about the energy of the heart as a muscle, as an emotion center. We know that our brain does a lot, but we feel emotions in a lot of places, and we feel sensation there too. So it's hard to disconnect the heart and that location from a lot of emotions and sensations. Heartache is a real feeling. And there's actually a really neat book called Heart, A History by Sandeep Juhar, where he is a cardiologist, I believe. He is a doctor. And he talks about this heart condition, and this is also in a TED talk of his, which is why I ended up reading the book, about the shape of the heart during a kind of heartache, loss, heartbreak. And the heart literally changes shape, and the name of it, I wish I would have found it before bringing it up. The name of this heart condition is actually the Japanese word for the shape of a container that is the same shape that your heart takes on. It's very fascinating. So it's a really interesting read about the history of the heart, from dissection and so forth to how we talk about it. So it's a mystery, but it's not. We're learning more. We're learning more about how things in the gut impact emotions and feelings and sensations. The element of the heart is air. So we're getting out of, earth, water, fire, air. This is the last element that is something that we consider one of the four elements on the planet. Once we get into the last three chakras, I can't read through your belly. Once we get into the last three chakras, the elements change. So when you're talking about the fourth chakra, you've got in this area lungs, heart, bronchia, arms, hands, respiration, hypertension, muscles. These are the things that are associated with this area. And when you think about it, it makes sense. First of all the things that are right here anyway. But then you've got arteries and veins that are going out from your heart, that you feel here, into the arms, into the hands. It's all interestingly connected, anatomically actually too. And so the sort of theme that makes sense, like none of this doesn't make any sense. Love, compassion, altruism, devotion, acceptance of divine guidance, renewal, growth. Simple, not easy. Things that, we kind of get, but then if you try to define what they are, it's a little bit wiggly. But we know that these are things that are felt, that these are emotions that are felt in our body. When it's out of whack, when the heart chakra is out of whack, and I'll talk about that in a second, high blood pressure, emphysema, heart problems, chest pain, feelings of alienation and guilt. And I really like this positive affirmation that goes along with this. I open my heart fully to give and receive love unconditionally. So a lot of times we talk about unconditional love. I feel like it's kind of hard, although I'm not a parent. However, I do have animals, so they don't have to do anything for me. I love them, and I'm going to take care of them. It's debatable whether or not they love me or not, but I assume they do. But opening your heart fully to give, but also receive love unconditionally. Why don't we receive love? We don't feel like we deserve it. We are not good enough. They couldn't possibly. What are all the reasons? But here's the thing, is that if you experience that from the flip side, and you say, okay, here's this person that I love. Why won't they let me love them? I want to do these things for this person. This is how I show love. Okay, well, back at ya, right? Why aren't you allowing somebody to love you? The way that we give and receive love is different, meaning that the way that I define giving love is different from my friend or my boyfriend, right? So here's the thing. If I know that him that he gave me a knife for Christmas because I moved to Montana. That was his show of love for me because he wants to keep me safe. And he knows that I'm a strong woman and I can do it on my own as well. But he was thinking of me. Would I have, is that romantic? Not on the outside, like a knife, but it was all wrapped up in Harry Potter paper too. And he was super excited about that. So part of this is allowing somebody to show love in the way that they show love. And recognizing that just because they don't give it to me the way that I think it should be given, doesn't mean that they don't love me. Okay? But I also need to be open and willing to even bring it in to begin with. And that is why we work on the heart chakra. So whether you visualize it as a swirling vortex, an energy center, green pulsating light moving throughout your body, or you think about the physical aspect of when you're walking around like this and when you're closed off, how truly allowing this space to open up. So I challenge you, take a socially distant walk, and see how people might react to you differently when you're walking like this versus when you're open. And also, when you're like this, you can't really see people and you sort of look up all creepy, right? But when you're standing up, it shows confidence, but it also shows caring. You can see my face, you can see my eyes. I'm able to look you in the eye and acknowledge that you're another human being, and I'm letting you into my space in a certain way, right? So the practice of opening the heart chakra it really has an impact on everything else. The heart chakra is the one chakra of the 7 that doesn't have a partner. So normally it goes root, crown, so on, hearts at the center. Kind of makes sense. So when you do your heart chakra, when you do a chakra test, if your heart chakra is super full and everything else is kind of weak, I'm going to argue that you're probably giving too much of yourself. and you're not doing enough for yourself. You're not saying no enough. If your heart chakra is super weak and maybe you've got a whole lot of head stuff, maybe you've got some weaknesses or strengths other places, then you're not practicing enough self-compassion. Take care of yourself first so you can take care of others. You can't pour water from an empty pitcher. Practice compassion for yourself and for others. That's it. So your intention through this asana, it's a restorative practice, it's about an hour long, is to let go. That can be hard, but we're working on opening it up. As you go through it, you can visualize green energy light. You can visualize it moving around your body, expanding, glowing out from you. Or not. You can just let yourself go and let yourself just receive a restorative practice. Because shit's hard, man. Right now, life is always hard, but right now, this is hard. This is unprecedented. And this is getting people who are usually pretty stable. There are a lot of people who are not handling this well. That is expected. No, there's nothing that prepares you for a pandemic and isolation and being trapped at home with your family. So give yourself this time, okay? And be gentle with yourself. No forcing anything. Have no expectations. And try to practice a restorative practice once a week, every other week. Give yourself the time, okay? All right. Enjoy the practice. If you have any questions about it, if there's adjustments that you would like, shoot me an email, put a comment below, or on our private Facebook group page, and I'll do my best to answer your questions, all right? Namaste. Have a wonderful rest of your week.